Hey, what's up? I'm X. Welcome back to our So You Want to Be a Blank series. Last time we covered how to become a collection logger. Today we're going to be covering how to become a PKer. This will not be a tutorial on slurs, as I feel like robbing you of that creativity is unbecoming of me. No. Today I will be teaching you how to get into PKing and how to PvP as a whole, regardless of your skill level. And if you like these kind of videos, please subscribe so that I can make more. We're very close to 1,000 subscribers, and it would help, and I would like that. Before we get into the absolute basics and essentials, I'd like to mention a few things that I think are important to know before watching the rest of this video. PKers are generally not toxic. I would say that more often than not, my interactions in a PvP situation are either completely silent, or just a simple good fight at the end. There are a ton of players that make PvP an unwelcoming and gross environment to be in, but they don't make up the majority. I've had people ruder than PKers yell at me because they went to get dinner and I took their Hellhound spot. Another thing worth noting is that a lot of players make a distinction between PKers and PvP. The distinction being that PKers, which stands for player killers, are targeting players who are for the most part not fighting back. PvPers, on the other hand, are usually defined as players who seek a semi-equal fight against one another. Now that those are out of the way, let's cover the different kinds of PKing that you can get into. To become a wilderness PKer, you have to know where players are and what to expect from them for your skill level. While players can be anywhere in the wilderness, I have found that they are primarily in the following locations: the cave bosses, both single and multi versions, Venenatis, Callisto, and Vedion; demi-bosses, Scorpia, Chaos Elemental, Chaos Fanatic, and Crazy Archaeologist; Revenants, Black Chinchompas, Chaos Altar, and the Wilderness Slayer Cave. There's also the Wilderness God Wars dungeon, which does have rare occasions of players risking good money, but it's not very common. At all of these locations, when PKing, you always run the risk of being anti-PK'd, which is when a player that would appear defenseless fights back. This is usually in the form of hiding a special attack weapon until the last second. If you're a new PKer, I'd recommend getting a couple of your stupid friends and bring only a couple 100k in risk and head to one of the areas I listed in a multi-combat zone. Assign your friends to either teleport block, freezing, or DPS. You'll ideally want a combination of all three on your team for efficiency. Players above 30 wilderness are not able to teleport out of the wilderness. If they are under 30, they may teleport with a gnome seed pod or any dragonstone jewelry. Once they are under 20, they may teleport with just about any teleport they'd like. Keeping this in mind, you will need to plan around it to be able to secure more kills. Places like the Chaos Altar are incredibly quick ways to get kills, as most players bring no food, and because it's in 40 wilderness, you will not likely need a teleport block. Multi-PKing in small groups is one of the most fun and best ways to get into wilderness PvP content. Just don't bring anything you don't want to lose. If you're looking to hone your skills as a solo PKer, I'd recommend heading over to Black Chinchompas. Now, I know that most players don't want to be bothered when hunting out there, and don't worry, they will remind you of that. But this is a great way to practice your switches on a live target. Chinchompa hunters usually have a good amount of defensive gear and food with them, forcing you to make sure that you are hitting them off prayer and as much as possible. Once you're confident in your abilities, head over to the Revenant Caves as a next good step. You'll be fighting largely players who aren't looking to fight, but you'll also be introduced to a whole lot of new anti-PKers, and you'll learn quickly what HP and strategies you need to use and have to survive these encounters. For me personally, I like to have a setup that looks something like this. I have a considerable amount of Saradomin brews and only a few restores, super combats, and staminas. A lot of PvP streamers bring significantly more food than I do, but in this kind of setup, I am not always looking for one-on-one fights. If I am, or you are interested in doing that, play with your food and gear ratios more. I like to have one heavy weapon and a light weapon in my setup. Something that hits big numbers and something that hits decently, but quickly and more often. Good combinations are like a ballista and whip/claws, or dragon crossbow into godsword. These are my go-tos. There are so many different ways to PK that I encourage you to find one that suits your playstyle, as everybody's going to be different. Maybe you're not a PKer. Maybe you're more of a fan of one-on-one vengeance style fighting. Thanks to the reintroduction of Bounty Hunter, there is a place to do just that. If you're anything like me, I had no idea how to get into venge style PvP, as it seemed like there were a lot of unspoken rules that I didn't know, and I was too afraid to ask. So I'm here to tell you to get yourself a setup that looks like this. You can change your gear to match whatever you'd like to risk, but this is a nice and basic setup. Make sure that you have the Lunar Spellbook and Vengeance unlocked, as it will play a huge part in this style of PvP. Head over to Ferox and head into the crater. Once you're there, you'll have to deposit some money into your coffer and go through the dialogue of how to play. But then you're in. Click the barrier and you'll be sent into the field and assigned a target. The two types of people you run into as of recording are players who just look just like you, and are looking for consensually skulled fight where both of you are risking something, or someone in significantly better gear who refuses to skull and insists that on death they are risking significantly as well. It's up to you what fights you'd like to take in this sense. I do find that because I suck ass at Bounty Hunter, getting my face kicked in by a guy in Torva is not fun and I usually avoid it. When you start one of these fights, 99% of the time you're going to kill or be killed by a combination of special attacks and vengeance. I'm not a Bounty Hunter expert, but I can tell you that you want to get a feel for when your opponent is about to hit big so that you can venge it and your opponent will be trying to capitalize on the same things that you are. It's standard protocol to keep your HP around 60 to 70. If you go much higher than this, your opponent will likely not be happy, as it's incredibly hard to kill a player at 99 HP. If you eat to 99, don't be surprised if your opponent follows suit. To really learn about Bounty Hunter, you're gonna have to go out and win and lose some. Consider it an investment. There's also death matching, which I suppose is technically PvP, but as most of it is simply click and watch what happens, I don't think that there's much to cover. It's the fastest way in the game to make money, and it's the fastest way in the game to lose it as well. This video was an overview on PKing and how to get into it, but I didn't want to spend too much time teaching you how to PK as I feel like that could be a video of itself. There are a lot of things in the wilderness to look out for. Things you'll pick up over time, like a man holding a dragon spear is a man to be feared. I hope through videos like this we are able to get more players out into the wilderness, not as prey, but as potential. PvP is incredibly complex and there's no right way to do it. If you want to main hand a dark bow and auto-retaliate with it to get kills, go for it. I hope you found today's video informative, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment, share with your friends on MySpace. I will see you guys next time.